Hello, AJ. I have a question, and it's two parts. I understand the physical body, and I understand the spiritual body. Spiritual body is one of.
Yep.
I know how it feels to feel the spiritual body, but soul, where is it? And where I am, if when I'm not in my spiritual body or in my physical body,
Yep.
where I am.
Okay, well, firstly, there's your physical body. If we had to actually right now, because you are now consciously awake, right now, your physical body is like that, but I should probably draw the gender correction, though, perhaps. But you're sitting down, but this is your body. That's your physical body. Your spirit body actually is almost identical to your physical body in its genetic structure, and it overlays your physical body. It's a bit larger than your physical body, and it overlays it. So it's right there with you right now. And then your soul is an energy structure that is not created by your parents, but rather created by God. And so it doesn't have the same structure. It doesn't have a physical form, but it envelops both bodies. Do you understand what I mean by it covers over? It's like an envelope in which both bodies exist. Yes?
So I'm with my soul all the time. How can I feel the soul, though?
When you say you're with your soul all the time, let's define that, shall we?
I understand that it's around me.
Yeah. So your physical body is not necessarily with your soul all the time, but rather is connected to your soul via the spirit body. So, for example, when you go to sleep at night, what happens is the two bodies that envelope each other just before you went to sleep, the spirit body and the soul itself go away from the physical body. Every night you go to sleep. Do you understand? And as you go away, your soul is still enveloping the spirit body, but it's the spirit body that has the energy connection with the material body. And there's a cord, and they call it a silver cord, but it's a stretching material. It's a chain of energy that transmits all of the what you would call nervous system impulses via the spinal cord to the spirit body, right? And as a result of that, what it does when you go to sleep at night, this cord maintains connection between your physical body and now your soul and your spirit body is elsewhere. So if you imagine it, you're lying down, so you're lying down, okay? As you leave your body, your spirit body leaves your body, so you see your spirit body will leave it, and your soul is still enveloping your spirit body, and it's your spirit body that has the connection with the physical body via a cord. And it's an energetic structure in which information transmits back and forward. So, when this body's bladder is full, it's transmitting to the soul. The soul is floating around in the spirit world in different locations, and we'll talk about where and what later. And it feels the sensation, the bladder is full. Now, most of you don't like a wet bed, so you respond to that, right? You respond to that call of the physical body, the physical body sensation. So the physical body is transmitting an impulse to the soul saying, I need to go to the toilet, I need to go to the toilet, I need to, right? And because you have to wake up to do that, unless you're willing to wet the bed, then the body comes back and overcloaks, and then you get up, go to the toilet, go back, go to sleep, and then go back to the spirit world again. Right? So this is what happens every single time you wake up from a sleep. There's a call coming from your body, from your physical body. And I'll just sort that out. It's going to be a bit of a nuisance. I'm going to have to definitely strap it down at some point. And so you now have this process going on between the bodies. Just need to have a drink. Thanks, Anna. Okay. So the relationship between it is this. While you are completely conscious and awake, your body and your spirit body and your soul are all together at the same time. But when you go to sleep, your spirit body and your soul leave. And in fact, your spirit body is still connected to your physical body through this cord, but your spirit body can have sensory inputs, feelings and emotions from the experience in its sleep state. So every single time you go to sleep at night, you are actually alive and awake in your sleep state, in the spirit form, having an experience. Now, most people on earth don't remember it because we're too afraid to remember it. And so we have a tendency to shut down everything we're afraid of, and so therefore we don't remember our experiences. However, many of you do remember your experiences, or at least parts of them, through the course of a night. And that's an indication of what is happening. So what I am saying is the law of attraction, and in fact I'm saying that all of God's laws have a hierarchy and scope of operation which in particular affects this part of ourselves, the soul, the real self, but as a result of that will also affect the two bodies, the physical body and the spirit body. Yep. You want to ask Mary?
The lady's question was actually, how do you feel your soul?
How do you feel your soul?
Yeah.
Well, many of us do not feel our soul, unfortunately. It just depends on how sensitive we are to allowing all of our emotions and feelings at any one point in time as to how well we feel our soul. So if you could think of it this way, the best way to feel your soul is to experience every desire, every passion, every emotion, every feeling, every belief that you currently have. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I do that. And we go, hang on a sec, just hang on a sec. You think about the course of a day. How many of you want to be at work when you're at work? How many of you feel like you desperately want to get up in the morning and go to work? So quite a number, about 2 or 3 of an audience, right? That's fantastic that you feel that way, by the way, because that means that you're connected with your soul while you're at work. But for the majority of people in the Western world in particular, but also all through the world, in fact, many people don't want to do the things they do during the day. Whenever we don't want to do the things that we're actually doing, we are disconnecting from our soul. We are putting our soul into a state of denial of its own experience. Because to be there, we'd be unhappy. Does that make sense? Like for many of us, if we're not happy with the work we do, if we get up in the morning and go along to that job, we've got to disconnect from our feelings to a degree. We've got to disconnect from our emotions about that to a degree. And since we disconnect from our soul. So the way to remain connected with your soul is to remain connected with your desires, remain connected with your passions, your longings, your feelings, your emotions all the time. In addition, do what they ask you to do when they're in harmony with love. So the rest of us who didn't put up our hand about the job, if we were truly connected with our soul, we'd wake up in the morning and we'd say, I don't want to go to work today. And we wouldn't. We wouldn't go to work. Now, a lot of people go, well, that's pretty impractical. Well, it depends. You see, if you had a job that you loved, then you'd wake up in the morning, wouldn't you? And you'd go, I really want to go to work today. And in fact, would you even view it as work? You wouldn't, would you? You'd even view it, oh, I'm just going to get up and have some fun again today. That's how you would actually see your life. And therefore, you'd be much more connected to your soul. But for the majority of us, we've learnt through society pressure and different problems that we face during our life, we've learnt to suppress our desires and passions in favour of a practical existence, what we view as one. And unfortunately, we disconnect from our soul doing that. So to truly connect with your soul, you've got to stay connected with those desires and those passions, those longings, and live in the truth of it. Many of us have a partial connection with our soul in that we do connect with what we like and what we don't like. But unfortunately, we don't live in the truth of it. In other words, we have a tendency to ignore it too many times. So we ignore what we really would like all the time. You think about it in a relationship. Quite often in a relationship, there will be a feeling of discontent about something. And then what we do is our head clicks into gear and we go, well, if I raised that, the last time I raised that, she got really angry with me about that. I don't know if it's wise for me to raise, and last time she raised it, we didn't have sex for a week, and it was just terrible. And the last time I raised that, you know, she was pretty bitter with me, and, you know, like, and I go, I don't think I want to raise that. But our soul is really saying that we need to raise it still. And so this is where we start to do compromises. And when we compromise, we're actually compromising our soul. Right? So if you can bear that in mind, does that answer that question enough?